Welcome to the most horse-powerful podcast on the internet, the Xbox Drive. Before we get this show on the road, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and ring that bell on YouTube, and leave a 5-star rating or review on your podcatcher of choice. If you want to continue the conversation after the show, make sure you join the Carpool Gaming Discord. For exclusive content and all the Carpool shows in one simple feed, head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Finally, head over to carpoolgaming.com for all of your merch needs. Now, with all that out of the way, you better buckle up, Buttercup, because it's time for the Xbox Drive.
Greater than X.
Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most horse-powerful podcast on the internet, the Xbox Drive. I'm glad you're here. I'm on a Skype call with my friends, Fiona McKinnon and Mitch Power. What's up, Mitch?
Hi, how are you? I didn't know we were on Skype.
Great.
We got the wrong program, right?
Why? What did I say? I said Xbox Drive.
You said Skype.
You said Skype.
It's always been Skype. We've been doing this from 2016 since almost
You're right.
the Xbox 360. We're on episode 360, Fiona McKinnon.
We sure are. Holy moly. Sean, it's been a hot minute.
I thought you were going to swear at me for a second.
Yeah, just like, holy.
Holy shit,
No,
Sean.
No. It's more the lines of the fact that, like, I think it's mostly because I'm accustomed to being the one who opens the podcast, where I almost started talking over you, and now
Well,
I'm just
where have
like,
you been? Where have
I been? Great
Where
question.
have you been? Where the hell have you been?
Well, great question. COVID happened, guys, and boy
damn.
howdy, has it taken me for a loop. This is actually past my bedtime at this point. Don't know what's happening right
You have
now.
a bedtime? You have
My
a
new-
bedtime?
My bedtime is like essentially at 7:00 at night. It's when I start wrapping down now, and I need to fix this. I don't like this life. I don't
good.
like the.
It's
I
good
don't-
for you.
No, I
It's
don't
good to
like it.
sleep.
No, I like going to bed at like 2 a.m. in the morning. This is
Nah,
not
I go
it
to
for
bed
me.
like a responsible adult.
No, I don't like this. Get me out of here. Get me out of this. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm just going to start going to bed. And I'm like in bed at 8:30. I'm like, I hate this. I need to not do this. So it's not it for me, guys. I'm sorry.
Did you nap? Are you rested?
I didn't. I took like a 15-minute nap. So I'm also just excited to talk to you two. It's been a hot minute. So I'm super excited to just be here.
Has it actually? I feel like it has, but I haven't done the math. Has it? I feel like it's been a while.
It's been 2 weeks.
that's
Weeks.
I mean,
half a month.
Honestly, if you asked me, I would have said a month. I would.
2 weeks on the show. I talked to Fee last Saturday when she
That
was
is-
doing nefarious things in games. But yeah.
Okay, I did nefarious things for one round because we'll talk about this later. We're putting
Yeah,
a pin
we
in
will.
that one. We'll
Pinning it.
wait until later, guys, because Mitch and I are gonna go at each other because we're like,
What else is new?
What is
right?
new? What is new? But yeah, it feels like it has been a month. It feels like it's been a week, but also a month at the same time. So here we are. And I'm just really excited to be able to talk to you guys.
Well,
And,
welcome back.
If you haven't noticed, one of our cohorts isn't here. Bows, I feel better. But guess what? Peter Moore, come on in.
Oh, Peter Moore is here.
Come on,
the
dude.
mastermind behind the Xbox 360. Peter Moore is here. Let's see your tattoos. Take off your shirt, Peter Moore.
Peter Moore, take off your shirt. Do it.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh.
He's just out of frame, guys. I promise you, he's right here. I swear to God, he's camera shy now. He doesn't take his shirt off anymore.
Bowser wasn't here for Peter Moore, man. She would have
Wow.
loved this. She would have totally just geeked out about that. That's great.
It's okay. Peter Moore, can you call Bowser real fast? Just let her know that you miss her. Okay. It's fine. We're good.
Oh, man. We are here live at youtube.com/carpoolgaming and also live at twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live. If you guys are on that free feed, man, that's too long ago. You got to get here on the live feed. Got to get there at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, which reminds me, Mitch, we could get into some... Where's that lady? Peter Moore, step aside. Housekeeping lady,
Peter Moore,
come on
let
in.
her in.
Peter Moore, just you wait. We'll have Peter Moore wait in the lobby.
Peter Moore's our
sit there.
housekeeping person.
We'll just wait. The housekeeping lady
God knows
is
what he's
here.
wearing right now. You don't want to know.
Oh,
I'm
my
subjected
goodness
to it.
gracious, you guys.
You look
We
good,
are on
Peter.
the road to Extra Life. It's a couple of weeks away. Of the three of us, I'm the only one confirmed. Bowser and I will definitely be there, but we're all in spirit raising money. Fiona, are you pointing at the camera like you've got something to say here? Do you got
I'm just pointing at the camera.
a reveal?
I'm just here pointing at the camera. That's it.
Okay.
Just pointing at the camera.
Lockless, of course, on the Nintendo Drive unveiled yesterday that she will be there. So maybe, who knows? We'll see what other announcements that we can have. But we have a very quick housekeeping around here. We're not gonna dwell on this because we gotta talk about that great Xbox 360. But before we do, I want to say thank you. So I will say thank you to Hydraulic Monkey, TJ, and Josh Couture for joining as free members over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. I want to remind you guys, get that sweet merch that Fiona made. She drew that sweet Bobby riding a controller with the Extra Life wings. Looks very nice. Go to carpoolgaming.com. Apparently the whole URL is here. carpoolgaming.com/collections/extra-life-2024-collection. Type all that in, and you can go directly to the page.
It's so much.
So silly. It helps
It's in
us.
the chats, everybody.
It helps everybody get their accommodations all sorted at Extra Life. We're traveling from all over the world. We are descending upon you, America. Okay, Mitch? We will be inside America.
Yeah, you guys will.
Yeah, all of
that.
us not in America will be there. Those who are there, I mean, it's fine. So
I have an announcement to make. I get to make a video because I'm not going to be there.
It's going to be so fun.
I'm jealous.
For those of you who are on patreon.com/carpoolgaming, the exclusive tier and up get the Pants Patreon podcast for patrons podcast. It's our AMA. Garrett Bland is next. And also, we got that mini indie van podcast that fully started. We got a little project going on.
Woo.
So if you like indie podcasts, Fiona McKinnon, you might want to go check that out.
I sure do.
Good. Okay. The end. That's the end of housekeeping. Get out of here, lady. The end. Until next time. That's it. Okay. Fiona, we'll start with you.
Yes.
It's been 6 months since we've seen you.
It has been.
Just gonna make this worse every time we mention it.
Perfect. I love
30
it.
years from now.
It's been a decade. It's been
360 days. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What you been up to? What you been playing?
Besides staying alive.
Just sitting there playing, just happily, just a gleeful smile, playing games.
Okay, so I did get to play a little bit of a few video games, if you will. Actually, you could say I played 50 with UFO 50. Boy, howdy, guys.
Ooh.
Was that game, or this game, just very enjoyable. Did I only pretty much play one mini game for hours on end? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Which one?
It's called House Party. So it's essentially a deck builder game where you're essentially like pushing your limit by inviting people over to your house, and you can invite like different types of people, and those people give you different stats that either give you money or reputation. And of course, there's the rowdy people that will get you in trouble. So if you end up inviting 3 of these rowdy people, your party's over, and the police come and say like, "Whoop whoop, no, you can't do this." And so you
That's
have
the sound
to
of the police.
exactly. And so there's so many different like little mini.
That's the sound of the police.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
you.
I got you, Mitch. I was on mute for a second.
Pick it up what I was putting down.
That
Let's
was
go,
late.
Sean.
That was late, but
That's why we're friends. Good job.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
there's
greatest.
there's like a bunch of different mini games. I did try quite a few of them, but I really just ended up playing the House Party one for hours on end because it is a deck builder, and of course I love deck builders. So it's a lot of fun. They have no instructions on the games as a heads up. You kind of go in blind with these, like, you just get a little icon and you click on the icon and then it says, this is the game that you're about to play. And you're like, okay. And so it's kind of like learning. That's the game. The one that was just on the screen for people who are listening. It's a fun time. It is a very cutesy pixel game that just keeps on going. And there's so many different elements. There's like Castlevania, like Metroidvania types of games. There's shooters, there's fighting games, there's golf with friends, essentially. There's just so many different elements. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I will definitely say A Creature Habit. I played the game that was like the one that I mostly play, which is deck builders. So if there's a game for everyone is the best way to put it. And should I branch out and play some more? Absolutely. Am I going to? Maybe.
That literally reminded me of like a NES collection of a studio you've never heard of a day in your life. And they're like, we've had 50 of the greatest NES games all piled in one. But like, I've never heard of you.
Exactly.
But the instructions not being there definitely reminds me of NES. Like when you go rent an NES game back in the day, figure it out. There's only two buttons and directions. Figure it out.
Yep. No, there's only so much you can do. Push the buttons. Right. Give it a try. See what happens.
What's this one do? What's this one do? Congratulations, you've learned the buttons.
Yeah, it's just absolutely bonkers. So I would recommend it if you have an opportunity to. I personally, like I said, stuck with the ones that I was particularly interested in, but there's definitely a lot of different elements, and I definitely felt a little bit confused in some cases because I would click on one and then I would just play it for like probably 5 minutes and I was like, no, and I would close it, and then I would go back to House Party because that's all I did.
You know what you like.
Because I know what I like. Yep. Even though there's 50 games in one, I decided to play one of them. So not shocked in the least. Yeah,
I love that you're playing this actually, because you and I have chatted about like the game jams that you've been a part of. I feel like this speaks to that maybe somehow. I don't know if that I'm reading into something, but like it just seems like you're gonna try it to create a bunch of games as quickly as possible. But then they really rounded these out into full experiences. Like this seems like it was born out of a game jam, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It definitely has that vibe to it, especially with different, like, shockingly enough, the game jam that I usually do started today. But when it comes to, like, things like that, it's usually, like, a bunch of smaller games, but these seem really polished, like you said. It definitely feels like it was thought out fully, and it's not just like, oh, there's, like, one particular element. There's multiple different layers to it, and some of them, even though I particularly not super great at platformers, for example, there was one that I really enjoyed where it was just pure chaos and you have to like shoot down as like essentially a parachuter, and you can use your person as like either a bomb or like a weight so the person you're playing with can continue on to the level. So there are like a lot of different mechanics, like there's the either multiplayer or you can play solo depending on the certain games, but it definitely feels like just like almost like when you look at like buying a book and they have like a bunch, those types of books that have like a bunch of short stories in them. That's what this is kind of the vibe of. It's just a lot of really small short games that don't really like no major plots by any means, but it definitely has a lot of fun elements to it. So I would recommend it. Even though it's not usually something I would pick up myself, I've been having way too much fun with it. So I'm really excited to play some more.
Nice. UFO 50. Love
UFO
it.
50. And on the topic of multiplayer, kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier where we put a pin into it, I played some Lockdown Protocol with Mitch here and his community. And boy howdy, does this game not like me, because it is super first person. And also the fact that I didn't get to play some rounds because someone decided to all of a sudden pick up a gun and then take me out at the very beginning of the round. And so I spent 10 minutes just hanging out as a ghost.
Why would Bowser do that? That's mean.
Not Bowser.
That is Bowser. It's really
it
mean
wasn't Bowser. Oh.
Wasn't Bowser. It was a particular Mitch Power who did this. But no, the only time I've ever played this game is with Mitch and his community, and it's a lot of fun. Usually I'm very smart and I take motion sick meds beforehand. I did not last weekend, but it's been an absolute blast. There are a few things that I kind of wish were associated, like maybe having some sort of element when you die, because it does feel like you're just kind of sitting around and doing nothing for, depending on the situation, up to 10 minutes. So it's a lot of just hanging about, but there's a lot. It's kind of what I wish that we had with like Among Us, which was actual elements of like multiplayer and also like having to work together as a team to fix certain elements. But at the same time, obviously there is sabotage. I only got to play as the imposter for one round, and it lasted me up to like 2 seconds because I tried to kill Bowser and it didn't work out in my favor because I accidentally threw the weapon at Bowser instead of actually shooting Bowser because I forgot the buttons. So then Bowser's just like, Fiona's trying to kill me, and I'm like, no. So I know what to do next time. But yeah, there's a lot of really fun things. There's positives and definitely I definitely don't want to come off as negative here. There was definitely some areas of this game that I kind of wish might get updated later on, including things like being dead for a long period of time and not really having anything to do with it, nothing to do during that period of time. Or I know when we first played it for the first time, we were kind of lost. I felt like we were all lost and we all had to watch videos, which I personally am not I don't want to sit there and watch videos. I want to know how to do it right away. So was I impatient? Yes. Should I have paid attention to the rules? Absolutely. Did I not? 100%. So maybe it is my fault. But yeah, I enjoy games like this where you have to lie your way out of a situation in this case. But yeah, I only got to play the imposter once. Mitch got to play it multiple times though. Mitch?
It's fun. No, there's a lot about this game that I definitely do like. Number one, I mean, I'll talk about the good things instead of Fee, who just crapped all over the game. Don't worry about it. I'm kidding. The sound in the game is amazing. It relies on prox chat very, very much so. Mm-hmm. So the way sound travels in the game, you hear gunshots happen down the hall. You can tell something bad happened down there. The prox chat as you run around the corner is hilarious. It's definitely, I prefer this over Among Us because of the pacing of the game. When you want to suspect somebody of being the imposter, if you just want to call them that, you don't stop and have a chat. It is literally in the middle of everything. You're just yo, we got 3 minutes to finish this. What are we doing? Who's the killer? So you have these tasks. The tasks take a lot more coordinated efforts. But at the same time, like he just said, it does take longer to learn the things that you have to do. It's not as simple as in Among Us where you walk up, hit a button, have a good day. You literally are doing multi-step things. But also it's nice because those things can also lead to sabotage. We have to find a particular item, like a screwdriver, to undo these vents. And you can take the last screwdriver that's there, and if you're the imposter, and run and hide and put it in the corner. And everybody's running around like a psychopath looking for a screwdriver. Pacing in the game is good. Fee is right, though. When you die, you are useless. You can't do anything. So the problem is it leads to more calculated thoughts, though, because if you are in a situation where you have 3 minutes to do this task, it's are you going to risk shooting that guy if they are the imposter? Because if you shoot that person and they're not, your task just got infinitely harder to do, to where you might not even finish the task at the end of the round. So there's a lot more thought to it, but you're right. Once you die, especially to answer Fee's question, I grabbed a gun and she was AFK and I was like, well, no one's around. And I just shot her in the head. And then she watched us play for the rest of that 8 minutes. So that's the only thing that's down about it, is once you die, at least in Among Us, you can still do the task to help the objective and get the job done. Whereas if you're dead in this, you're basically just spectator mode, and then you can just watch all the hilarity that happens. But the game is fun. It really is. They did such a good job. It's only $10, and I got $10 worth of fun the first day. It's amazing. The only complaint I would say I would have is when you die, yeah, you kind of sucks. You can't do much. I would say also number of players. Right now it maxes out at 8, which is not terrible. But if you had 10 or 12 and maybe added another task, maybe another descendant, which is what they call the imposters in that game, it would just be even crazier. And the map is pretty big to the point where 3 separate teams can do different tasks and everything and be good in the game. So, yeah.
I will definitely say I got a lot of Kindle time being killed early. So I just sat there and I was I had my Kindle and I'm like, you know what? Me as well. So I had 10 minutes. I'm just reading through my book. And then every time I died, I'm like, well, I'm just going to read. And then people would be like, Fiona, are you okay? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just sitting here reading. I'm like, I'm not going to run around watching people. May as well just take this opportunity to read, I guess.
I never would have thought of that, to do that. Oh yeah, I'll be playing this game, and then I have my Kindle there to read at the same time. That is not two things I would have put together.
Well, again, that's the problem, is once you die, you are kind of useless. I think it would be cool if you were a ghost, because of the way prox chat works. Do some cool stuff with that. Not haunt, but if you could do different things to make your voice be known and this so-and-so's the killer, like something like that. I think that would be kind of cool things, but
You like Matthew McConaughey, like in the bookshelf kind of thing?
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Taking over like a certain item or like being able to haunt something for maybe even a short period of time, I think definitely those elements could add like
That'd be
another
great.
layer to it. Because even though yes, like I said, it was fun reading. It's just one of those things where, especially if you get eliminated the first 2 seconds of the game, you're like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? There are definitely, I feel as though in comparison to like, let's say Among Us, because Among Us, it's all about kill, kill, kill. With that game, you could essentially just sabotage everyone the entire time because there's something, there's a pizza sushi, I don't remember the name of it,
Oh,
but
tasty.
you have to get like rice, you have to go grab different elements. So if you stole all the rice, you just doomed the entire group. So
Right.
then people are fighting against each other because they're like, well, who took the rice? Where did the rice go? What happened to the rice? And so it just ends up in a huge argument, and then you can cause chaos that way. So I think I really like those types of elements, that it's not
Right.
just heavily relying on like, who can I kill the fastest? It's how can I sabotage the group? And I think that was my downfall when I was the actual person, was because I just tried to go the Among Us way and not the sabotage way, which is probably what I would do in the future if I got the opportunity to do it again. Because the first day that we played, I think we played for like 6 hours and I didn't get
Yeah.
the person at all. I was just constantly like an employee, and I'm like, okay, well, this is fun, I guess. Were there times where I killed myself specifically so I didn't have to like run around? There is a way to do it, by the way, Sean. So if you overexert your character, you can take yourself out of the game.
You can run away too hard and die. There's like
Yeah.
a
That's
stamina system.
That's what nerds are afraid of when it comes to exercise. Like, oh, if I take a walk around the block, I could die.
Pull a hammy and
I
just
can't
fall
do
over and
that.
die.
Exactly. If I try a push-up, I might not exist anymore.
Yeah. So there's moments like where if you get stabbed and then you're like, oh my God, and you start running away going, Fee's the killer, Fee's the killer, Fee's the killer, and you run too hard, you just fall over Peter Griffin style and you're dead. You're just like, yeah. So there's like a whole stamina system, so you can't run too long or else you literally will die. If you overexert yourself, like you can
Jump.
do things that overexert yourself. Jumping too much, yep, you can kill yourself doing that. So that's the thing is like, if you're the killer, you better have a surefire shot to kill that person, because if they get a chance to run away and start screaming through prox chat, Bounce is the killer, Bounce is the killer, Bounce, and they just die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it's
strat.
super. It is like I said, super fun game though. I do enjoy playing it. I felt bad for Fee because she definitely, like, the second time we played, she was just like, one, I have COVID. Two, I didn't take my meds. I'm dying. Like,
Yeah,
I just don't feel good. I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
Well, first everyone was yelling at me. They're like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave us?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Guys, I have COVID and I am super motion sick right now, and I don't
Yeah.
know which way's up. I need to go lay down for like a good solid 4 hours. Peace out, A-Town."
Yeah.
But no, it's okay, Mitch, because I'm not gonna lie, you are not the only person that constantly sends me messages and says, "Oh, we should play this game." My best friend constantly sends me video games that we should play together. And every time it's a first person game. And I'm like, can we stop with the first person? Every single time. It's like Pressure Wash Simulator. There is the crime scene cleanup games.
Yeah.
There's the... And I'm like, guys, there are other games in life other than first person. And they're like, these games are only made for first person. I'm like, no, they're not. You're just
Gears of War.
constantly picking them. And I'm like, is Gears of War in first person?
No, it's
No,
third. It's
no,
third.
it's third.
Okay,
person.
I will
Yeah,
play
play that.
Gears of War
Yeah.
over whatever...
If you saw, wait a minute, was that news last week or this week?
Yeah, Halo. That was what we talked about on the show last week. The Halo.
That's what I
third
thought.
person.
Yeah.
We were wondering about
Halo's third person.
Yeah.
There you go now. They're going to have a third
And
person mode.
free.
And free.
People
true.
not Game
Bazinga.
Pass free. Capital
Yeah.
F free. As Fortnite. Free as Fortnite. Halo is as free
Free
as Fortnite.
$99. Free
No,
$99.
just free.
Free 99. No, I would
$3.99.
definitely play. I would play Halo. Again,
It's so
because I've
fun.
played it before. I just
so
haven't
fun.
done it recently. There's literal, like, actual coverage online or like recording of me online playing Halo for the last time, and it was absolutely bonkers. It was with Mario Rivera. Shout out to Mario. And it was me screaming at him for a good solid 2 hours while he asked me questions about my history with Halo. So that was great. So 10 out of 10 experience. That's
Yeah.
it for me, guys. Peace out.
I hope you
Yeah.
start feeling better. Hopefully, do you have... Wait. Can we shift into my favorite segment for you, which is not what you have been playing, but will you been playing? Do you have anything on your radar? Do you have anything like what's coming up for Fiona?
Oh, boy, howdy, guys.
Oh, yeah,
Boy,
my
howdy.
favorite, my
There we go.
favorite, yes.
Boy, howdy. One, guess what game just recently came to Game Pass? And a game I want to get back into. Inscription. Guys, I freaking love this game. If you have not played Inscription before, I need you to literally stop whatever you're doing. You can listen to this podcast.
What if I'm podcasting
while
right now?
You, I
Okay,
mean,
bye.
You know
Go to play
No.
Inscription.
what? Guys,
told us to.
this game is so freaking good. It was one of my favorite games, I think, of 2021 or 2022. I don't remember specifically the release year. But goodness gracious, it's so good. It's so well done. It's like, I would like to consider this video game as an onion. And I know you're about to say, like,
Ew.
what? It's because there's so many layers to it. There's so many different things that are happening at once. And you're like, what? And also, guess what? It's a deck builder. Woo! So it's all about this particular character waking up in this cabin, and you have to play a card game to live. Like, you, if you do not
Oh,
succeed in
jeez.
this game, you get taken out, and then you have to start from the beginning. It is so freaking good. The art is so well done. The atmosphere, guys, we are in the middle of October. This is a great game to play for October. So you
Oh.
need to play this. There are definitely different things going on. If you do end up playing this, please let me know what you think, because honestly, there's so many different elements to it. It is so well done. Oh man, I want to go back to this. If honestly, this is one of these types of games that I wish I could go back and play this for the first time, because there's so many things that happen in it. Goodness gracious, would highly recommend. Go and play Inscription. I'm going to go back and play it just because I want to relive that experience. But oh my gosh, it's so good.
Are you're bringing this up for like, did you know this is coming to Game, or just came to Game Pass? Is that why you're bringing it up, or is that like a coincidence?
No, I literally just found out today that it came to Game Pass. Someone
Yeah.
pointed out, they're like, guess what's on Game Pass? I'm like, what? And they're like, Inscription. And I'm like, are you
Inscription.
kidding me?
Just came to Game Pass. Yep.
Yeah. So I need to go back and play that game. I also am very excited to, oh my,
Oh.
I'm my brain. Okay, I have, because I was going to play Rika before I got COVID, and then I didn't get to play it because I got COVID. So I'm going to have to go back and play Rika. Also there's, oh my goodness, so many different games that I want to play. And there's, because I had to put everything on hold for 2 weeks, that I just want to be able to play all the games that I talked about earlier on too. Like, I haven't gotten back into DBD. I need to play a number of other spooky games. So yeah, that's there's another game I wanted to play, and I cannot think of it off the top of my head. And it was a demo that I played 2 years ago, and I need to like remember the name of it. But it was very spooky, and honestly, I'm very excited. It's a point and click adventure, and I'm going to specifically talk while I'm trying to figure this out, because it was very creepy. It was about a guy who goes into the middle of the woods and gets stranded, and then he ends up finding this house that has essentially something happens in the house, and then you find out that there's other elements in the woods that are happening, and you're like, what's going on? So another game.
Been there.
You've been in the woods, and
They don't
Mind
have
your business,
woods
don't
in
worry about
Arizona.
it.
Come on, man.
oh my goodness.
Up
It's called
north
The
they
Night
do,
is Great.
stop.
The night is okay.
Don't be like
You got
that.
sand. You have sand and sun.
We have
You're the-
sand and cacti where I live. Thank you very much. We have woods up north.
You got no cactus woods.
It's a game called The Night is Grey, and there might be some supernatural elements to it. So there is point and click. It is about like I said, a gentleman who gets lost in the woods, or they think they get lost in the woods, and there's different things that happen. I
They
don't want to
think.
spoil anything. You think. I don't want to spoil anything, and I know
Oh.
this is a really terrible explanation of this video game, but it is, if you enjoy a spooky, like, lost in the woods vibe, but also trying to figure out the mysteries of what's happening and why he can't leave. Yeah, because there might be a loop. Who knows? We don't know. There might be some creepy creatures
There's a
that
loop.
live in the woods. Who knows? Honestly, I'm saying who knows because from what I remember in the demo, it was you go into the woods, you drive up, the car stops working, you go to this house, and then you almost die. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but you almost end up dying, and then you have to talk your way out of a situation, and then things happen. So would highly recommend. It is a very fun pixel game that I like. It was on like to be announced forever, and it just came out like a few days ago. So would recommend. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to spooky games and being able to actually play games again, because like I said, I've been going to bed way too early. So it's like my video game time has been completely dissipated, except I got to play Phasmophobia, which also
coming to Xbox.
Coming to Xbox and is in first person. People need to stop recommending first person video games.
I think you just need to get a
fixed.
Costco size pallet of your meds and you're fine.
That's true. I will say I played with some coworkers and they asked me if I ever streamed before, because I was like just acting a complete fool the entire time. And I was like calling out the ghost's name, and I was just like, I randomly put on a southern accent every so often, and I'd randomly like just act like a complete fool the entire time, because I'm like, why not? The ghost isn't coming out. And so I was just calling out the ghost's name and acting silly, and they're just like, do you stream? And I'm like, every so often. And they're like, yeah, we could tell. You're very funny. And I'm like, thanks.
I'm so shocked you actually told coworkers that you streamed, because I, for 4.5 years, did not tell a single person I worked with I streamed.
I didn't
Not
for a
once.
long time, and now I do. Like I did for specifically for those two, because they're like people who I talk to on a regular basis. Like
Got
they're
it.
two of my work besties. So other than that, no.
I did today. I told people today, because I work from home, and I took a call, and they're like, "What's up with that?" And I'm like, I mean,
Are you talking about what's up with like all behind you? Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, they look at the.
Oh, I
You sound
blur my
mind your
background.
business.
Well, I get very self-conscious when they're like, "Oh, my kid would love that." Like, shut up! Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, you have no idea. Okay.
Look at all those Nintendos behind you.
Exactly. Exactly, dude. Everything is Nintendo.
Yep. Look at all them Nintendos.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
the
So I got to
Nintendos.
brag about you guys a little bit.
Aw,
Right.
So that was nice.
thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
While you're bragging to your coworkers, what else have you been playing?
I'm all over the map, you guys. I mean, first of all, you know what I've been playing. If you've been listening the last couple of weeks, I'm still playing that there. Iron Meat. Yes, I
what's up.
have, Mitch. Oh,
Iron
man.
Meat.
I'm almost... I think I've got 3 more achievements for the everything. And there's actually an achievement for getting all the other achievements, which is basically as close as
A
it
plat
gets
trophy.
to be a platinum trophy.
That's a plat trophy, yeah.
Yeah, they have that as an achievement, which I quite like. Like, that should be a thing. You know, if you're not gonna have a platinum trophy, that's never gonna happen in Xbox land. And we'll talk about.
I feel
achievements
like
later.
that's been in games before. I feel like that was like early 360 days.
Get all the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Get all the rest and we'll just give you this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that seems redundant because it takes it away. It takes away gamer score from what otherwise could be something that you could be achieving if not taken up by that last one. So I don't know. There's some weird circular math and logic that I can't do right now, or I'll get a nosebleed. So, but there's two of them left. I don't think I can do. And one of them is do one of these levels. It's called The City. Do it on hard in under 10 minutes. And dude, I can barely beat it at all on hard.
I believe in you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
You don't believe in yourself when I just heard that. You're like,
No, I've tried. I've tried many. Because I love. That's the thing. Like when you go after a platinum or a 1K or whatever you want to call it, when you go after all the achievements, like that means that you really dig the game. You know,
Right.
and you will go through some of those things that are not natural for you to do. So you'll go out of your way. I've ranked credits on it multiple times at this point so that I can unlock what I need to unlock. I gotta play the whole game with like a different skin, and that's been really fun to do. All these different it's achievements. You guys know achievements, you know. So I've just been kind of like combing through that, and now I don't have any more that I can legitimately expect to complete. So now I'm at a conundrum. Now I'm like, do I just keep trying and playing the game? This gets into my whole very existential crisis that happens to me in video games often, where I'm like, what am I even doing it for, man? Like I've got other games that I can play. Like, am I done with this game? I was thinking about you, Mitch. Anytime you have like a game that goes on forever, like I could play this game forever. Like it's not about rolling credits on it. It's not one of those games. It's more arcadey than that. You can just like fire it up at any time and have fun. But I've forgotten how to do that, I guess. because I should just move on to whatever's next and cross off another game off the backlog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with the single player stuff, that's where it gets kind of like some games, man, at the end of the game, like I'm done with it, dude. I just don't care. I'm like, you know what? That was good, but I'm good on this, right?
I'm not.
And
that's the trouble.
Then there's
I'm
some
not
games
done.
you end with and you're like, I don't want you to stop. I want you to keep giving it to me.
Yeah, I guess that may be my only.
You
this
heard
is
me.
like it's a criticism that comes out of loving it so much. Like I wish there was something. I wish it was something more than just achievements.
Right.
You know, I wish there was like, I would buy DLC in 2025 when I'm allowed to do
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? But it's
Release in
also, you know
2025,
what?
please,
I
not
need to
now.
play 2-player. I need to maybe that's how we do this at Extra Life with neither of you. Maybe Bowser. Maybe because it's got to be
With
couch
neither
co-op.
one of you clowns.
With one of the other 7 carpool hosts who will be there. Maybe that's how I can beat that level in 8 minutes or in 10 minutes. It's got to be
Probably.
co-op. There's a co-op mode that I would like to give it a try. So, Mitch.
Side note, Tim Paullin, thank you for the 100 bits on Twitch. Go on.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim Paullin. That's too kind. Tim Paullin, you do enough. You do enough.
Not enough. Keep going.
Yeah. thank
Sean's
you.
modest.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm just playing. Don't do that.
So Iron Meat, well, it's just a special game. I saw a couple other people finally tweeting about it, and that was very encouraging to see. It's like, okay, yeah, people should know this Iron Meat. I played Space Marine 2 again today, just for a little bit, just to check out those operations, and I could see that being pretty good. You get paired up with a couple randoms if you're not there already with a party of friends, and you just kind of do some PvE stuff. You just run through a mission and kind of figure it out together. We didn't have any comms, Mitch, no comms. So you just kind of follow the other person. Whoever seems to know what they're doing, you just follow their lead and kill some bad guys, and there's objectives that you kind of finish. It's basically just running through a level with some online friends, and that was kind of nice. I have yet to decide, though, because this was really just earlier today. What I'm intrigued to find out for myself is if there's enough of a carrot at the end of the stick to like keeping me with it, just keep playing it and chasing after what other armor is unlocked, or I don't know if that's enough for like, it's not like a battle pass kind of situation, but it's kind of like a battle pass situation. So it's I need to dive into it a little bit more. And it's just that I like the game Space Marine as much as I do. I like playing it. I like how it looks. It's one of my favorite games this year, honestly. So it's good that it's got more game modes for me to go play. But like the reward so far is like your armor has a little skull on it instead of nothing at all. And I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. So if anybody's out there who actually plays this game, maybe that's what I'm missing. Because I just did it with a bunch of silent random strangers, and like it's good because it's Space Marine, so it's objectively great. But I don't know if that alone is enough to have me spend time with it. You muted.
I
Mitch, but
was
knew
gonna say
you
like
were
that.
pensive.
Yeah. That would be honestly. I have to say that though about almost every multiplayer game on Earth.
Right.
Like it really is, especially when you have like a competitive. If it's competitive or a cooperative type of deal. Competitive, depending on the game, depending on the mode that you're playing with friends is crucial, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Example, I feel like I can play Apex with randoms. I can play Fortnite with randoms. I can't play COD with randoms. I just can't. Like, it's just dreadful when I try to play like
For Warzone, for sure.
for
You're trying to win
Warzone, it's
together.
dreadful.
Yeah,
Multiplayer,
yeah.
I don't care. Whatever.
Totally,
Multiplayer's fine.
yeah.
But like certain games, though, for example, Among Us without friends, I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
That's not fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fun part is the fact that I know you and we have a history together of playing games together, and we can run our mouths against each other. And like that's the fun part. Lockdown Protocol. It apparently passes the test of being playable with randoms. I haven't done it, but Buzz did. Buzz had so much fun the first day we played it. He's like, I went and played it with randoms, and again, that's the test. Can you play this game with randoms? He's like, absolutely. It's super fun. Because the voice part of it is so necessary for that game. There's no like ping system. You can point at things, but you have to talk. So that game being more structured around being able to talk and randoms knowing that almost everybody has a mic. So it's more fun to play that game with, friends. But I get it. There are definitely games like that. When you have fun with friends, it's way more fun. Way better than with randoms.
Yeah, I just worry that people have moved on from Space Marine 2. So
That's the hardest part about any multiplayer game these
right?
days.
Yeah.
Any, unfortunately. Like, give it
For
2
sure.
months, and it's like, hopefully people haven't moved on.
Yeah.
So,
definitely. True. The only other game I played, even just for a little bit, was Kill Knight. This was a game that Bowser had talked about last week or the week before. Kind of isometric action dual stick shooter kind of thing.
Yep.
Almost Hades-esque, almost Next Machina. If anybody's played that over on PlayStation from Housemarque, was a really good game as well. I'm just really wrapping my head around the controls, but yeah, Bowser nailed it when she talked about it. It's really leaderboard focused. So you're plunked down into a space, and a bunch of enemies are racing after you, and you're trying to swipe them with your sword or blast them with your various like gun abilities and stuff, and survive as long as you can, from what I can tell so far. And I'm really just trying to wrap my head around the controls. You can actually map your controls to whatever button you want. So I'm kind of the default controls for me, not hitting it. I need to change that for a twin stick shooter kind of thing. I don't want any face buttons. Actually, I want everything to be mapped to like the bumpers and the triggers. But it kind of by the default settings are a bunch of A's and X's and Y's and stuff. It's like I can't do that. I got to be aiming and moving at the same time. I can't take my thumb. I don't have 2 thumbs, Mitch. Can't be doing that or hold
What happened to your other one?
Situation. No, like on the same hand. I have to. Damn, you're so right.
I'm just saying.
I was just like, what?
This is where you guys learn a little something about me. I lost a hand in a farming accident here in Alberta, Canada.
All of a sudden, you pull off a sleeve, and it's just like, what the hell?
Fiona, do you remember those old War Amp commercials?
Yeah, I remember. I can put my arm back on, but you can't. So stay safe.
Yep, from Planet Danger.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
Oh, dude, there was awful. These commercials.
Oh my god!
Nightmare fuel for all children in Canada in the '90s, man. Absolutely.
Jeez.
Yep. What is his name? We should put the links in the show notes. Actually, we won't, but we should.
We won't.
We absolutely won't, because that's me who is supposed to do that. But you go YouTube War Amps commercials from the *90s. It's wild.
Sean, you and I will one day just at like a post Xbox stream just bring up like old school Canadian commercials, like Body Break. Why not?
Body Break? Yeah, definitely.
There
was some Ontario workplace safety ads back. Actually, it was only like 10 or 12 years ago. This is awful. This might be a trigger warning for some people. So it has this lady. She's working in a kitchen. I don't know if you remember this, Fiona. She's working. There's a series of these. She's working in a kitchen. She's like, I've got this great job. I really love it. And you know what's the best part? I'm about to get married. Except for I'm about to be in a horrific workplace accident that could have been totally preventable if somebody cleaned up the floor. And as she grabs this like hot metal tub of like boiling oil and dumps it on herself, and she's screaming on the ground, and people are like, there's been an accident. And the point is supposed to be it was preventable, but it's horrifying. And they played it in the middle of hockey night in Canada. Like,
oh yeah, don't you put
Canada's built different, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, if you're feeling a certain way and it's a spooky season or something,
oh
go
my
Google
god,
these commercials. There's another one. A guy gets like flung off a roof and he has a terrible fall. Like,
Hey, here we go. Here we go. Extra life incentive. You get a little milestone. You guys do a watch party for all those commercials.
Oh, we should show you guys. Oh my, Fiona, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, believe me. But then there's like the cute ones, like the house hippos. It came in the chat. Says, "Don't you put it in your mouth?"
Don't you put it in your mouth? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unless you ask someone you love.
Yeah.
If you don't know just what it is,
don't
put it. Okay. Don't put it in your mouth, Mitch.
I'll try not to.
This is the one that like I quote this all the time, Sean, and no one knows what I'm talking
Dude,
about.
what the hell am I watching?
No one knows. Whenever I constantly say this, like, I can put my arm back on, but you can't, so stay safe. I say that all the time, and people are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. I can put my arm back on, but you can't, so stay safe.
Stay safe. Yep. Don't get your arms cut off.
Or play safe. Either one.
That's Canada for you. Hopefully that explains a little bit about us right now. That's really the focus of the show. Just learn a little bit about your hosts here in Canada, Mitch.
Yeah, I guess
Nice.
so.
This is on TV for us to consume on a weekly
That's
basis.
the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Legitimate nightmares.
That looks like an SNL sketch. That
This
looks
played
crazy.
every morning when
Oh,
I had to
yeah.
wake up at 6:30 in the morning to get ready for school because
Yep.
I'd always have like enough time to watch like one show. So it would always have to be on YTV. And
YTV,
it would always be like there was like either the one that they were working in a restaurant and it was like fries with that. That's the show that I watched, or it was like one about a radio station. And then I'd go to school and those are the types of commercials that would play, Mitch.
Yeah. We're
Those
messed up,
like
man.
also like every morning it was body break and then it was just that couple that's constantly biking and jogging and doing some great stuff.
Yeah, Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mitch. Anyway, that's what I've been playing this week. Mitch, have you been playing anything, man?
I played Apex. Go on.
Okay, sweet. I'll do the
Well, that was great.
I'll do the ad here for 45 minutes.
Right how?
Yeah, 45 minutes, 51 seconds. Patrons don't get an ad. The free people get an ad right here. Okay,
Boom.
what's next?
Ads.
Mitch,
Pay for it.
We're just going to call out. I don't know why I do this. I don't have to be doing that. All the other shows do it nice and smoothly, and I just...
Yeah, yeah.
that.
You're just like, just screaming at them right there, right before they
You
do
know what?
it.
I think I would appreciate that. If I was one of the free listeners and I didn't know what was coming, it's better to say ad.
Here it is.
You know,
Yep.
here
and
it
if
is.
if you've been on the Patreon the whole time, you didn't realize that was a benefit you're getting. Now you know.
Now you
the
know.
more
So now we just
the more
talk
you
about
know.
the ad as
We
long
like-
as the ad is.
Guys, we
Right.
like transparency here at the Xbox Drive. We like to tell you when things are about to
needless
happen.
transparency. Yeah.
A little bit too much sometimes.
Let us
Let's
tell
be
you
real.
about the trauma we experienced by watching television as children. How about that?
Y'all just said the two most
Exactly.
Canadian names I've heard too. I was just like, I don't know what the hell is happening. But
Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
yeah, that I'm
Pretty
like,
progressive. Pretty progressive couple, by the way.
I guess so.
True.
Yeah,
I
that was
believe you,
important
sir.
for
I
us
don't
to
know.
see. Yep.
Yeah.
I guess so.
A conversation for another day, if
I
you
guess
will.
so. Maybe another podcast in time. One that isn't about video games.
Start a new pilot podcast. Do that one.
This is our
Canadian
Xbox
commercials
show,
and
you
television.
guys. This is our
Yeah.
Xbox show.
It's
God.
just Sean
is.
and I.
Which is
Oh, man.
crazy. It's an Xbox show, and it happens to be episode 360. So we're gonna go ahead and get some people in the car. Come on, get in.
Get in here. Jump in.
Get in. We're not stopping. Jump
Just
in the
scream
car.
at people. That's not
Yell at
inviting.
people. We have a couple people from the community asking some questions, some 360 related questions, if you will.
Nice.
Kevin Ainsworth, what is the best game on the 360, and why is it Mass Effect 2? So, Fee, what do you think? Best game on 360. We're just gonna go to Fee. Fee had a 360, right?
Sure. I had access to a 360.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? I have some very fond memories of it. For example, Fallout 3 was on the Xbox 360.
It sure was.
I played that there. New Vegas, also available on the 360. Your girl played that on that particular console.
Right.
Here we are. I also played some Halo when I was in high school, which was a lot of fun. So, yeah. That's I know it's super exciting, guys. Those are like I would probably have to say out of all of them, of course there is like the headliners, but I would say Fallout 3. That is the one that stands out to me when I think of Xbox 360, I think Fallout.
Very fair. Sean.
Okay, I want to back up the truck here a little bit. you
Okay, here we
guys.
go. Lock in.
Episode 360. It has taken us 359 episodes to get to this dang point, and we are here to celebrate what I have put in the YouTube title and description and the show episode, whatever, as the greatest Xbox that Xbox ever made.
100%.
It's here. I don't know if that's even remotely disputable. Okay. Let me just, I have notes. And I will get to Kevin Ainsworth's question.
Okay.
Because it is in here.
Oh, okay.
But I'll read a bunch of, it's bonkers, okay? The Call of Duty series took off in this generation.
It sure
Tiger
did.
Woods, Fight Night 3, bonkers. Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, okay? Dragon Age, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition technically on the 360. BioShock, exclusive. All the Guitar Hero games showed up on the 360. Rock Band, Halo 3 ODST Reach and Halo 4 on the same console generation. Okay? Xbox Live Arcade, Limbo, Castle Crashers, Braid, Shadow Complex, Fez. We got the Kinect on this console. We got achievements starting on this console. We had an HD DVD expansion kind of like additional thing that you could buy and plug into the back and create your own little daisy chain thing going on here. This console is bonkers, okay?
Yeah.
You could turn it on with a cordless controller. That's never happened before. It did HD graphics.
Out of the box.
Out of the box, sucker. Yeah, not some Wavebird, whatever, additional add-on. Like, none of that nonsense, okay? This thing is an excellent, excellent console. I love it. Very, like, honestly, a lot of why I do this show is that 360. You know, like, it felt next gen. I sold my original Xbox, all 4 controllers and all my games so that I could get $200 to put towards the 360 so that I could play Perfect Dark. Okay, Mitch?
Oh, Perfect Dark Zero?
I wanted to play Perfect Dark. Ryan Turford in the chat saying King Kong looked incredible in HD DVD. Yes, it did. I had so many movies on HD DVD. Holy crap. I love this console. Mass Effect 2 might be the best game on this thing, but it's tough to choose from, man. It's tough to choose, and the reason it's tough because you had amazing franchises get multiple games in the same console. I miss this more than I can express.
Right.
That you could have a whole story arc across a trilogy of games on the same console. And it's not like we had this thing for 20 years. It was a normal, it was, I guess, somewhat long console
I was going to say, that was the first of, like, the longer of the generations.
Sure.
Like, back in the day, it was, like, 3 years, 4 years. And that one lasted 8, something like that. Like, it lasted much. That was the first of, like, starting to get that extended lifespan. But it had legs.
Consoles. It had how many consoles did it have, too? You just kept having, we could buy more because they kept breaking, of course. But it had all those different, like, models. The Slims and the E's and the Elites and all these different things.
Yeah.
Man. Like, the 360 was something special. Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, so it's really hard to argue with this. But it was really, to Fee's point about Fallout 3 being on there, you know, this was a really important console for Bethesda to be a part of.
Skyrim.
Well, Oblivion is really what, like, blew the doors open.
Sure.
Like, for that to be a console, like, for that series to jump on a console, Oblivion
That was within the first
one.
6 months of launch. I remember that. It was 6 months of launch. It was like launch window game. Yep.
Think of all the output from Bethesda Studios on that thing, or Bethesda related, if you want to throw it to Fallout New Vegas as well. You know, like, that's why that purchase makes so much sense, because of Oblivion. Honestly, that's where this all starts, and this is multiple generations ago. I don't think this is where everybody. If you enjoyed the 360, congratulations. You're one of us
in your
oldies.
30s.
Yeah, you're starting to enjoy going to bed at a responsible hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Fiona? You're starting to think maybe this is a good idea. You're like, maybe I need to stretch before I go for it.
Do you wake up and random things hurt? Congratulations, you enjoyed Perfect Dark Zero at one point in time in your life.
Exactly. You're like, you were there for Blue Dragon.
You were. Lost Odyssey, you were there.
You were there for Lost Odyssey. Yes. D-Life, Gears 1, BioShock. BioShock was an exclusive, you guys.
For like how long? Like a year? Was it like a
long time? That was
a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe we can fact check that later on. But like, we didn't have a term for timed exclusive. That came later, right? Like, there were timed exclusives, but that didn't really show up. We had the Tomb Raider reboots at the tail end of the 360. You know, like, this console is bonkers. It's tough to top Mass Effect 2, I would say.
Little over a year later. August 2007, October 2008.
Is that all it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the, I mean, yeah, like, that was also the situation where 360 was the one getting all the exclusives. That console got, like, well, I'm talking about just, like, it got the special treatment with, like, DLC early. It got, like, all these things. Like, so many people love that console, and, I mean, it sold like bonkers, and...
Gears of War was made by a non-first party studio, by the way.
Yep.
It was like Epic Studio. They worked separately, and like, that's the thing. It was such a different time from where we're at right now, where, like, they didn't. It's funny because once those third parties started going third party and not making exclusive stuff for 360, it's like, ooh, you don't have like any studios. You got like 4.
Right.
You got like Turn 10, Playground, 343, and what ended up
Well, at the time that was Bungie. It wasn't even 343. They made Halo 4. 343 made Halo 4, but like Bungie did everything else. So yeah, like it's nuts.
Well, did they not own Bungie at that time?
No, Bungie was always independent. Weren't they?
Really?
I'm pretty sure they were. I don't think Bungie was actually owned by any of them. I think they just licensed Bungie to do it. So,
in any case,
yeah, either way.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Thank you, Kevin, for kicking us off this memory lane of the greatest console that Xbox ever made. Oh man.
Yeah, apparently you're right. It did actually. I think it was owned by Microsoft at one point in time.
Yeah, right. Ryan in the chat also adds, people forget that Mass Effect was a Microsoft first-party title. Yeah, it was published by Microsoft working with BioWare. Yeah. Oh, man.
I was going to say, when I think about 360, like, I'm trying to think of, like, exclusives that were on the console, right? Because I could say Call of Duty, like, Modern Warfare, right? That was obviously, like, huge, but that was also on everything else. I would say specifically, Halo 3 just kick the face off every Halo fan. It had so much to it. It had so much. It was finishing the story, finishing the fight. It had Forge. It had everything 2 was awesome for. Just made it with 3. And I mean, 3 was so good. I honestly have a hard time choosing between Halo or Gears 1. Because literally I felt Gears 1 was like, obviously Halo, we already had like previously, I had Halo 2. You saw with that. Gears in HD and how good that game looked was like, here's why you bought this console. Like, this game looks so good. And it was super, and again, it was exclusive. Man, Gears of War was just so
Gears
good,
is the one that had me putting that headset on like a big old dork in my parents' basement and chatting with my friends as we played co-op, man.
Right.
We got Horde mode with Gears 2. You know, we got zombies at Call of Duty World at War was the first time. There's so much that, like, we just know and love now that started with the, like, what have you done for me lately, Xbox? I'm just kidding. I just really love that. I'm, like, way too nostalgic, Fiona, for the 360. Like, it just overwhelms me, actually.
But I think that it's completely fair, because I think out of like a lot of the consoles, even within like the past few decades, that's the one that like stands out the most.
Yeah.
I also think it's the last time that Xbox actually made a console that actually had like naming sense. Mostly
360 sounded cool.
360 sounded cool, and then all of a sudden they came out with the Xbox One. Why? Why'd you come out with the One? You should have gone with something cool.
Yeah,
like 720.
I mean, thank goodness they didn't do that. You
right.
know? Yeah, something like, so I don't know. I think it just like, it was a missed opportunity, and I definitely like, there definitely, even though I didn't own Xbox 360, there was times like the nostalgia of the idea of like hanging out with my friends and playing like Halo in my friend's basement, and we had like all-nighters, and we all like hung out as a group, and we'd play Halo in teams, and like doing stuff like that. Or remembering that I went over to a friend's house before a band concert, and we just had to like try to troubleshoot his Xbox because he got the red circle of death. So it's just like trying to do that, and then it was just those like small moments. I'm just, whenever I think of video games throughout my I guess my high school time, other than WoW, it was the Xbox 360. Or randomly playing a GameCube game like Resident Evil 4, but that's nothing in comparison to like Xbox, because I had so many like just like moments that are just engraved in my memory. And even though I never owned one myself, I think it's one of those things where it's just, there's just so many really like happy memories associated with this console, and I think it's something that really speaks to that particular, because I don't talk about consoles very often because I don't own one essentially right now. I do own some handhelds and stuff like that, but I think it's hands down one of the best. And I'm not just saying that. I love it.
I bought one for my parents. I bought many of these things, Mitch.
Which actually leads into our next question. Darth Stridius says, would Xbox 360 go down as the best Xbox generation, even with the Red Ring of Death? Yes, we bought 5 of them gladly. That thing would crash. We'd just go, whatever.
It was a rite
go
of
to the store and
passage.
buy a new one.
I got
Didn't
mine.
care. Yeah. everybody got it, and it's a matter of how you took care of it. Did you actually go through? I mean, obviously, Microsoft did have to fix them all to avoid a class action lawsuit and all these things. But did you wait? No. You know what you did? You went to the store and bought another one, and you'll figure that one out later. That's how much you love this console.
I definitely waited for mine to come on in, but I did know a lot of people who did that.
I knew.
In the meantime, they would buy one.
Yep.
Yeah.
They would buy one. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
but
that
like,
is
I think
the
that's
console.
because, like, if they didn't have that fix in place, or they shipped you the coffin, you know, that you'd send it back in, like, they just handled that so well that it was almost kind of, people would be mad about that now. There's no way that happens now. Like, there's no
Twitter
way
would
Xbox
explode.
survives that
these
days. Like, even, like, Joy-Con drift is pretty catastrophic, you know, but I guess Nintendo's still doing fine for themselves there. But they needed to have that solution. It's like, when has any company really gone to that length? That probably cost them hundreds of millions of dollars.
$1 billion.
I think you're right. Like, Peter Moore
in the documentary.
Peter Moore in the lobby. Like, just ask him if.
Hold on.
Oh, don't mute yourself on the podcast.
Peter.
There you go.
Billion? Yeah, $1 billion.
With a
It was
B?
$1 billion.
Yeah.
It was a bit with me.
Okay.
That? Whoa. Okay. No. So basically, yeah, he went to Steve Ballmer in the documentary. He went to Steve Ballmer and basically said, to avoid losing the brand, this is a $1 billion mistake.
Yep.
Literally, we have to ship everybody next day their Xbox, all this stuff, repair all these Xboxes for free, and it's going to cost basically $1 billion. And they're like,
Yep.
Okay. By the way, shout out to Steve Ballmer for not saying no.
Shout out to Steve Ballmer, man.
Shout out to Steve Ballmer, because he
Yeah.
could have easily said, "Are you out of your mind? That's $1 billion. I know we have a bunch of those, but that's $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money." So
I think it's very interesting to think about the fact that, like, it's such a prolific issue with their consoles, the Red Ring of Death, that it just became essentially a staple.
thing.
Like, when people think of Red Ring of Death, they know it's the Xbox 360. I can't think of another console where I'm like, oh, it was like that issue was associated with that console. You know what I mean?
Oh, blue
Like,
screen of death. Like, it kind of comes from PC gaming, like the blue screen of death.
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah.
just it became like essentially a mainstream like joke. And
Totally.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's so interesting that became such like a staple as well. And of course, it's a terrible thing to happen, especially if you were a teenager. You saved all of your money from your like after school like job, and then you bought an Xbox, and then like 2 weeks later you get a red ring. Like that's
Yeah,
the
that
worst
sucks.
idea, the
Yeah.
worst situation. But it's one of those things where it's just like, it's something that just stands the test of time, that everyone knows what that means. Like, it's
Yeah.
very interesting from a tech perspective, like just having something so profoundly known by everyone.
I just feel like we were enjoying things a little bit more. I think that's a sign of the times that maybe we're just a
no
little
social
happier.
media.
You know,
There's no
yeah,
social
like,
media.
like
That's what it
obviously
was.
it wasn't great. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. It's about as bad as it can possibly get if you're launching a console. And people had things to say about it. It's not like that, but it still was able to sell well enough. And it's not that it was that much better than the PS3. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. I guess the PS3 was much more expensive. There's definitely an element there. But what?
Man.
If you're going to interrupt me with breathing, then talk, man.
No, I'm telling you, like, I personally, I made the joke. I bought a PS3 to be able to play Kingdom Hearts 3 on it, and the damn game skipped the whole generation for it. So thanks, Square. Anyways,
damn.
because again, that was back in the day when Kingdom Hearts wasn't on Xbox, and they were talking about this game for 10 years.
Was it going to be? Were other
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts on Xbox?
Yes.
Okay.
It
I'm
was,
sorry.
and it was
Just
so
just a
sad.
question. I'm
Because
sorry.
I bought it and it didn't come out. But no, like, so my thing though is like, I owned both, and everything about the 360 I just liked better. Everything. I liked the controller better.
Yep.
The online,
Yep.
it had parties. Do
The
you
blades.
remember
It had the blades.
But dude, like, example, a feature that took PlayStation forever to get was parties. I could chat with my friends no matter what game they're playing.
Yep.
That was on Xbox for years before PlayStation got
Then they
it.
took it away on the Xbox One, Mitch. Then they
Yeah,
launched
it
the
was
Xbox
weird when
One
they did
without
that.
party chat.
I remember that, but like it was just so much better. I don't know. Like, and again, that's the reason why I think that console made me become an Xbox like fan, and that's why I've always preferred Xbox. It's just I felt everything Xbox did that generation was just better. And I get it. It didn't have, like PS3 eventually, if you look at long lifetime sales, PS3 eventually took 360 just because, Japan, and it was, had a longer lifespan there. But like, just there was nothing on earth I would rather turn on my PlayStation for except for play Blu-rays, because that's one thing that it had. And like
PS3
other
was
than
great for
that,
exclusives.
it had great exclusive games, but like, and again, because I'm such a multiplayer guy, and that's the one thing Sony doesn't have necessarily excel in that much. They had some decent multiplayer games. They had Killzone, they had Mag, they had, and there were some fun games. And I'm not saying nothing about PlayStation was fun, but like if you were to compare apples and apples, I was just like, I literally can't tell you that PlayStation's better in any way than in that generation. That's just my opinion.
While we're in the console war here, I guess, for generations ago, one thing I couldn't believe was almost never brought up between the two things was that you had to install the game on PS3. On Xbox, I think it was maybe like Grand Theft Auto might have been one of, like maybe GTA 5 was maybe one of the only ones. But on 360, you put the disc in and you just played it. I couldn't believe when I eventually got my PS3 and I was so excited to play. It must have been Heavy Rain. Might have been the first one I put in there. Getting ready to play and I'm excited. And it's like, just sit there and wait while this game gets installed off the disc. I'm like, nobody talked about that. To me, it's a massive difference between the two consoles.
The crazy thing is Xbox 360 added it as an optional thing
later
to make your game load faster.
Totally.
If you wanted to. You could say, if you got the space, here's the thing you can do.
And you would notice it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
notice the difference, definitely.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah, no, like there's, like I said, there's just so many things. The marketplace I thought was better on Xbox. It had demos. It just, there was so much good about that 360 generation. And that's why it blew up the way it did. And I'm glad, because if it didn't, we may not be talking about Xbox right now.
Probably not.
That system is, like I said, I put it up there literally as my favorite console ever. It really is. It was, and again, everybody's got that right time, right moment, right? At that time, I was working at Best Buy.
Yeah.
I was, all my boys that I still play games with to this day were playing Gears with me till 4 a.m. We're playing Call of Duty with me.
Good.
Like, I'm telling you, like, that console might go down as the best console in my personal opinion, just for everything that happened. So,
I mean, I just spouted off, I don't know how many games there, man. Like, it is nuts.
Yeah.
You got all 3 Gears and Judgment. By the way, we got 4 Gears games on the 360.
So much good stuff there.
Nice.
Yarden in the chat, or in the questions. Best memory of the Xbox 360 era for me personally was purchasing my first real HD TV for GTA 4 specifically. I was still in high school, so my parents agreed to go 50-50 with me so I could buy it. I know Sean has talked a bit about getting his first HD TV on another podcast, but I'd love to hear when and why everybody jumped into the HD TV era. If you got time tonight, have a fun show.
What a great question, Mitch. When did you get your first? What was your first? When did you get it? I love this.
So here's the crazy thing. So when the 360 came out, I worked at a place called Game Crazy, which was a video game store ran by Hollywood Video. If you live in America, you know what that is. If you don't live in America, I'm sorry, you don't know what that is. It's basically like GameStop. But I remember when we got the 360 demo unit, they brought in an HD TV to like replace the old tube TV that was there. They brought in an HD TV, and I was like, oh, you fancy, huh? And I was just like, that's cool. And it didn't click in my head how much of a difference it was until I saw Fight Night Round 3.
Dude, talk to me about it. Yes.
My whole brain exploded. I'm looking at them fighting and I'm just like, I don't understand how graphics can be this good.
Yes.
It was amazing. That demo sold everything on 360. Everything. And again, the problem is when you get home and play it on a tube TV, does it look as good? No. But again, that's why they put that HD TV out there, to make you see next to this GameCube on this tube TV, next to this PlayStation 2. Because again, 360 came out first in that generation. So like, look at these, look at this. And it was mind blowing. The first thing that I did get an HD TV when I worked at Best Buy, an open box 37-inch LG, which by the way, still have to this day.
Nice.
It's outside.
Like a flat panel, like a LCD?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. It was the smallest 1080p TV at the time, because when I bought mine, they had 1080p, but it was like mostly 720, right? And if I remember correctly, Gears. I was like, just show me Gears, please. And my whole brain just like blew up. And then eventually when I upgraded to a 55-inch Panasonic Plasma.
Yes, those are great.
Yep, and I still have that, by the way.
Me
It's in
too.
the loft. But the first game I played on that, Gears Judgment, and again, the colors on it were better, the motion was better, like everything about it was better, and I just was so happy. But seeing
I can't
Fight
believe
Night,
people killed the plasma, man. It's 600 refresh rate, 600 hertz refresh rate.
600 hertz. It was
And we went with
amazing.
LCDs, you dummies. Oh
Yeah,
man,
you big dummies.
We got console wars, we got panel type wars, Fiona. We
Yeah,
fight
buddy.
all day. Plasma versus LCD, and customers would come in all the time to the old Future Shop. What's the
Don't lay
difference
those
between-
flat. Don't lay those flat. It will break. Don't lay them
See,
flat.
that's the reason plasmas died, because everybody was afraid of something awful happening to them.
Right.
They're fine. They last for 20 years, man, just like the old CRTs did.
They're
then we
so
got this. Oh, and then we got fake frames and oh my gosh, dude. We had it. We had it. Plasmas
We were there.
the answer.
We were there.
That was anyway. Fee, do you
Fee,
remember
what
getting
about
your
you?
first HD TV?
I don't, guys. I wish I had a good answer for this.
Like Mitch and I are like, it was a Tuesday. I went there
yeah,
at
I
11:30.
solely remember it.
Exactly.
I don't remember.
I bought it from a guy named Chad.
Bochi at Best Buy hooked me up with a good open box deal. I know
What's
you,
up,
man.
dude?
What's up, Bochi?
I remember having a very large box television that was had wood paneling on it.
Yes.
And then we one day all of a sudden a large panel of it just died, and so for that reason we had to get a new one. And then I don't know if that was a plasma. I don't know what happened to I don't know what TV that was. We don't have that TV anymore. And then I think the first time I remembered something I kind of got into some sort of understanding of what television I had was probably when I was in high school. I didn't really I wasn't a console person, guys. I
Right.
didn't play video games. I watched a lot of television. Shocker. Your girl watched television. Woo! Not shock at all. I watch way too much television now. Probably where you guys played a lot of video games is when you were younger. I just watched a lot of TV. So I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could give you an answer, Yarden. But I can't. Because I remember dealing with a lot of HDs and talking about televisions when I worked at Future Shop, even though that wasn't my department. But
Yeah, dragged it. Code Blue over in TVs. You're like, shit.
for context, I used to be the toy demo person. I was there for a seasonal job, so I was the person who demoed the actual RC helicopters and stuff in the store. And
Nice.
so people got really mad at me. And they would actually scream at me in the front of the store because they thought I was just fooling around and doing nonsense. Even though
This is what I got hired for.
even though it said on my sign, I still have this. I have to go find it. It's somewhere in my room. It actually says toy demo expert Fiona on it. And so I had it around my neck as a lanyard, and I'm like, I actually am the toy demo person. They're like, I don't care, you have to sell me a television. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening. So
Is that on your resume?
it was for a long time.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Toy demo expert.
Yeah, because that was literally my title.
wonderful.
So yeah, I mean, it's good customer service. I dealt with a lot of people yelling at me, and people just pranking, and all sorts of other stuff. That's for another day. But yeah, I don't remember. That's the TLDR. I do not know when I got an HD TV, and I'm sticking to it.
I love how me
I
and Sean
paid well
flat out.
over $3,000 for my first HD TV, a 57-inch
Yo.
Toshiba rear projection cinema series.
Oh my god!
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous, Mitch. It took 4 friends to get that thing into the basement.
sure
That
did,
thing
yeah.
was huge. It was
Huge.
bigger than a PS5, if you can believe it, Mitch.
Oh my God.
Marginally larger than
That's
a
crazy.
PS5. This thing was enormous.
Yeah, to
You
put it in
plugged
perspective.
component cables into the back.
Yup.
You didn't have. Oh, maybe DVI.
HDMI.
It had DVI connection in the back as well, so that was pretty
okay.
good stuff.
We're getting
Gigantic
into
speakers
inputs
in
now.
the
Let's
bass.
go.
Oh,
I like it.
guys, the perfect basement TV.
He is so uninterested. I
It's not that
remember.
I'm not interested. I'm just saying, woo.
I remember the TV I got, that 37-inch LG open item, was $1,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I paid
37-inch
$1,000
LG,
for this thing,
1080p, and then I think the Panasonic Plasma open item again was I think 1,700 or something. To put it in perspective, swear to God, on Best Buy's app, I just bought a 43-inch 4K TV for $100. I wish I was lying to you.
Yeah, and
it's right there. I just mounted it.
Furious if somebody suggested you should spend thousands on a TV.
Oh,
no way.
The Best Buy that was down the street, Arrowhead, which we were always jealous of. You guys suck. They had Magnolia Home Theater, and I don't know if you know what that is, Sean. So Magnolia Home Theater was basically a store within a store. Okay. So it was in home theater, except for that was the department that had your $25,000 TVs, your $10,000 receivers, your $500 HDMI cables. Yeah. Like it had the monster craziest stuff. You'd go in there and just go an 85-inch, just enormous TV, and you're like, how much is this? Oh, it's $30,000.
Oh,
how many? And the thing is, that store sold that stuff. Like it wasn't just like a showroom of like, oh, I wish I could. No, they sold that stuff. That's the same store that has like the appliances, those like Viking fridges that are $50,000 and stuff. That same store. It's insane. But
I wish.
Yeah.
This was my era, man. I was obsessed with home theater. I sold it. I bought it. Like I had a great surround sound system. I wanted the best audio visual home theater system, man. I was buying all those cables. It was great.
Did Future Shop have the demo on the end cap of The Dark Knight? Or Batman
No, we had
Begins?
the Matrix.
The Matrix, okay.
Where, what is it, the elevator, like the lobby scene where they shoot up everything and you sat somebody in the middle of that and like they bought whatever you're selling them.
We had...
You know what I'm saying, Mitch? Or,
I know what you're saying.
Fiona has the head tilt.
No, I was just saying, did you work at Future Shop? Oh my goodness.
I've said it like 5 times in this episode, let alone this is Sean Capri.
And I worked at Best Buy, so yeah.
I sold home theater at Future Shop for many years.
Nice.
Yeah, the thousands I spent on my TV was a staff purchase. That was cheaper.
Was that the manager open item, like end of life deal? Like, please
I got most
get
of
me
my
the best
speakers
deal.
like that. I got most of my speaker, my subwoofer. I got you guys. I could talk home.
Best Buy
theater
/ Future Shop podcast incoming soon.
One of my favorite jobs. Holy,
it was the
crap,
best.
I loved
it really
it.
was. I love Best Buy.
So great. My manager lives down the street. Actually, as it turns out, the guy who hired me, I live like 4 doors down from him. He changed my life. He believed in me. I could sell stuff. I could talk to people. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Morris.
Yeah. See, I was like, people people in, like, if you had worked in my store, I don't know. I would go, I just kept on getting, like, mostly because the people in our, like, there was the camera department that was, like, right in the middle of the store, and then there was the home, like, theater behind it, and they just hung out, and then would constantly avoid customers, which was fantastic. So shout out to those guys, if you are listening to this podcast.
A foregone era.
I swear,
working
like
at an electronics store that actually
it sounds
money.
bad, but that, like, I worked there and I moved to Arizona. I lived here for a year. I didn't have any friends. I moved here and like all my friends were like, you moved somewhere, you suck. So they didn't talk to me. And it wasn't until I worked at Best Buy that I literally made all my friends, including Buzz, who I talk about every damn episode. If it was not for Best Buy, I wouldn't have met like Buzz, Bryant, Brandon, like all friends that I still have to this day. So yeah, shout out to Best Buy. We're going to start a Best Buy and Future Shop podcast here soon.
Kind of like the Office podcast where they talk about like the good old days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you me and you both have stories, dude.
You know what? That'd actually be a good idea.
We
That'd
do.
Be a good idea.
Extra Life incentive, the Best Buy episode. All right. Next question from Fulia. What's up, gamers? I'll be down in PAX Australia today, so I won't be tuning in live. So I wanted to give you all big congrats on 360 episodes. By the way, you're welcome. I was here for all of them. Since I'll be on a panel repping Xbox, hold on, in a console clash debate, I would love for you to do the same thing. As Xbox players, tell us why the PlayStation is so great. Have fun. Jesus Christ.
Well, they sure have taken advantage of all the missteps from Xbox. You know what I mean?
They sure did.
How about that?
That E3 right after, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, you can share games.
PlayStation has better single player exclusive games. I'll say it right there. That's an easy layup. Easy layup.
I think for me, the thing that jumps out and almost always has, is that whenever I would play this goes all the way back to the first. Whenever I play a PlayStation game, I always thought that's the best that a game could look. And the closest that Xbox really ever got to me was Gears of War. Like, a case could always be made, but like when there's nothing like playing Metal Gear Solid, whether it's the first one or the fourth one, They always look like the bleeding edge. Anytime I played a Final Fantasy game on a PlayStation, it looked like the most bleeding edge thing I've ever seen. Last of Us always seemed just a little like a cut above, you know, like the cinematic quality, the graphic quality, always a little better, I felt, on PlayStation.
The only thing close I can say, you're right, Gears was the benchmark in my opinion of like, this is how good games could ever look. The only other game that comes to mind specifically for Xbox, Hellblade. That's it. Hellblade 2 looked holy crap good.
And it's taken until 2024 for there to be
exactly.
For there to be an example. And I don't want to be just switching to just Xbox sucks. It's terrible. Like when this question is asked, like that's the first thing that comes to mind to me is like the visual fidelity of like Ghost of Tsushima is incredible.
Gorgeous.
You know, Infamous games always looked really, really good. Spider-Man,
Killzone,
insane, really good. And it's not to say that games look like trash on Xbox. It's just, and this is just me seeing them. What I kind of lament a little bit is that we now freeze frame and zoom in order to evaluate like if a game looks good or not, because that's what we have to do in order to see a difference. I'm just going from like I'm just looking at a screen and it just seems like PlayStation always just seemed to look that much better. Maybe it's some sort of fake, like that's just my perspective, I don't know, but it just always appeared that way to me, Fiona.
Yeah. I think a positive that I can think of when it comes to PlayStation is the fact that you can stream to Twitch on it. At least I used to do that for the PlayStation 4. So that's actually where I did my first few streams. I just live streamed straight off my PlayStation 4. And I played Uncharted. I played through the first 3 games. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I definitely agree with exclusives. I was going to make a joke with the fact that like things like God of War are now available on areas
PC.
like Steam. You can play on PC. Also, another game I really enjoyed playing on PlayStation, Monster Hunter World, also available on PC.
And Xbox.
And Xbox. So there's just I don't know. I think the positive things I can come out from it is streaming, and then the games that I played with friends.
The single player games will always be better on PlayStation, I feel. Like I don't know. I just feel that's their focus, whereas Microsoft's focus is making sure you have a good multiplayer component, whereas like Sony does not seem to care about the multiplayer component on any. Yeah, it's there sometimes. Ghost of Tsushima has like a co-op mode kinda, and Last of Us had a multiplayer mode, but it's not like up at the
That one's pretty good. That faction
it's good.
Pretty good.
It's good, but what I'm saying is like it's not like they're like Microsoft. I feel like is the opposite, where they're like, we want to make sure the multiplayer is good, and we'll add some single player stuff. But like Gears, for example, though, like Gears and Halo had great stories and stuff like that, but just like Last of Us, dude, come on, man. Any of those Uncharted's are like,
yeah, Naughty Dog
massive.
came.
Naughty
to
Dog
life
knows
at the
what's
end there.
up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Nice.
Agreed.
What else?
Ryan in the chat.
Ryan Turford of the Xbox Drive, circa.
Of the Xbox Drive, exactly. He was here for every episode too, in
Yes.
spirit.
No, he wasn't.
As many people know, I am a longtime stan for the Xbox 360. I picked it up day one after selling my entire GameCube collection in order to pay for the console,
Wow.
4 games, a year of live, and a second controller. From having 5 different Red Ring consoles, downloading every single game demo, and following everything Xbox 360 games, I want to know what was the first Xbox Live arcade game y'all fell in love with, and if you miss Microsoft points. Microsoft points can go straight to hell with
No
them.
kidding. I forgot about Microsoft points.
Right to hell.
That was the currency you would buy. You
Right
couldn't
there.
buy dollars, Fiona. You couldn't buy like a gift
Doll
card
hairs.
with equally dollar. It was you would translate into points, and it was something like 800 points was $10 or something. So it wasn't even like it would line up or anything.
Right. God forbid 10 is 1,000.
You always would. So you'd have to buy 1,600 points with $20, like and nonsense like that. So they played you quite a lot, man. Yeah. Microsoft points we do not miss. That was a revelation when they changed that over.
Also, go to hell, Microsoft, with your random 160 point purchases.
Exactly.
Go to hell. Because you know why? Because you get the 40, and you're like, oh, I guess I can't buy anything with 40. I gotta buy more.
Exactly. So you gotta buy more. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I feel like that was like an FCC thing. Like somebody, like I think they got sued for. I feel like it was just unfair to consumers. It just was. It was pretty.
It was
pretty
outrageous.
outrageous.
That, and Nintendo did the same dumb thing.
Yeah.
Nintendo did the same thing. It was only that was the one thing PlayStation was like, real money? Yeah,
just do
that
dollars.
works.
Yeah.
Just do dollars
Just have
because
a
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Xbox Live arcade games.
Oh, Limbo is the first one that comes to mind for me. I was late on. I feel like Castle Crashers was really early in there, but Limbo was the first one where I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, indie games can really, they're really good. Yeah.
Summer of Live Arcade was so good. Such a good curation of games. The two that come to mind for me, State of Decay, because I thought that was insane that was a live arcade game. And again, like, it was like live arcade games, like, it sounds bad, but that was before indie games had like the prestige they do now, right? Because some indie games literally are better than AAA games, right? And that's very evident now. But like back in the day, if it was an indie game or if it wasn't a full price game, you would assume the quality of it wasn't that great. And it took a couple games for you to like go, oh no, like these are actually just as good. For me, State of Decay was that first one that literally kicked me in the face of like, holy crap, this is a indie game. This is a lower, quote unquote, lower level game that is literally as good as a lot of these AAA games that I'm playing. It had a lot of unique things in it. Like, it just, State of Decay was awesome.
Ooh,
and
I never played the first State of Decay.
This first one was great.
Nice.
And then the second one that comes to mind is Trials HD, which I've talked about on the show before.
Oh, dude, I would have overlooked that 100%. That's great.
It's such a good game. It is such a quick. Yes, it's so good. And again, like, that was an exclusive on there for a while. And then it finally, and then like Ubisoft was like, oh, hey, we should probably put this on everything. Great. Trials is phenomenal. It's still a fun game. I can't see the chat says
Geometry Wars. Yeah, wasn't that like the first one? Like the
first, that was the first one. That Hexic, or was it? No, what was the name of that?
Yeah, Hexic.
Hexic was that?
Like the almost like the Tetris kind of thing, wasn't it? Like
yeah. That was the one that was like pre-installed on every Xbox. But no, like, there was so many good games that came out around that time. I remember like Castlevania Symphony of the Night was one of them.
That game called?
Castlevania Symphony of the Night was there.
Yep. Shadow Complex was
Complex was super good.
Yep. Metroidvania kind of thing.
Do you remember? So okay, this is the fun part. All the old school 360 fans, the memory cards they used to sell.
Oh yeah. Okay?
So they had a 256 megabyte memory card.
Yep.
Okay. Did you know at one point in time, every live arcade game had to be less than 256 megabytes to fit on a memory card?
Yep.
That was a rule and restriction that Microsoft put on live arcade games. Yeah. And then eventually they were like, yeah, we can't do that anymore. So then they came out with the 512 memory card. And then eventually they got rid of memory cards in general, and they just started allowing you to use flash drive, which was always the right choice. Again, Microsoft, your proprietary stuff, I get it. You just want to sell stuff. I totally get you. But like, yeah, like they quickly got rid of that. And I think there was still a limit, I think, of like 2 gigs or something was like the limit of like how big a game could be. But that was back in the day. Like, they wanted to literally be able to put those on memory cards so you can just take it out of your Xbox, bring it to a friend's house, plug it in, start playing instantly. That was like a rule that they had. And I think it was, I actually think it was State of Decay. That was the first game that broke that size barrier. Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, dude, there's so many good live arcade games. Was
it 360 for Super Meat Boy? Was it
back
all the way back then? That was really good. The Walking Dead, by the way, Xbox Live Arcade, like one of the best, 2012, that would have been late in the 360 era. But man, Xbox Live Arcade, really great. This is also back in the day when you would just get Xbox Live by accident. I reference this all the time for Game Pass. You'd buy a game and it's like, here's 14 days of Xbox Live. Like, come on, man. Phil.
Right.
Do you forget? This is how you got us all. Okay, you just gave us just a stupidly small amount of Xbox Live. We all had it. We all stacked them up. It was all really good. Yes. Ryan Interford in the chat. This is why I wanted Ryan Interford to weigh in on the question, because he's if you go back, let me pause for a quick second before I get to Ryan's question or comment in the chat here. Go back in the feed, whatever you're listening to, if it's on Patreon, if it's on the Xbox Drive, the free feeds or whatever, go back and search for the Crossroads and the Roundabout. I think it was I can't remember which one's which. Ryan did the top 50 games for the original Xbox and the Xbox 360.
Nice.
And it's on this feed. So if you're looking at this going like, guys, what are you talking about? It's episode 360. It's this podcast catcher says whatever, 460 episodes. Right. There's more than 360 episodes, is because Ryan went deep, man. So Ryan Turford, kudos to you, man. I think it was the Roundabout. I think that's what you should go look for. But in any case, if you want to hear Ryan's thoughts on all the different games that were on these consoles, he did a great job with that. Now to his comment in the chat. It says, actually, Symphony of the Night that broke the first size barrier. That was 50 megabytes, man.
Yeah. That's just so weird. But I'm looking at the Summer of Arcade list, which is kind of compiling the better ones. Braid, Castle Crashers, Geometry Wars, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Shadow Complex. Trials HD, Castlevania, Harmony of Despair, Hydro Thunder, Limbo. Bastion. And then this is, of course, when Connect shows up, Fruit Ninja Connect.
Fez was in there
Elysian
too.
Tale. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
Wasn't. Dust is a good game. Dust and Elysian Tale is really good. Yep.
Brother, A Tale of Two Sons, 2013. That was the last year of Summer of Arcade.
Oh, man.
But I mean, if you go to like just Xbox Live Arcade games in general, there's hundreds. Because that was just basically their indie version of...
This is the indie games. This is the indie
it was all the
explosion.
indie games. Or the smaller games. I mean, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was considered an Xbox Live Arcade game. That's weird, if I have to say so. Like,
I think it turned into like digital only. It had nothing to do with if whether or not it was an indie game. It was if it didn't have a physical release. I think that's what defined as Xbox Live Arcade.
Probably, yeah. Because I mean, like Perfect Dark is on here. Peggle. Oh my god.
Oh, Peggle's great.
Peggle is great. I remember they had the Magic the Gathering, Duels of the Planeswalkers games. Those were like, again, live arcade, but you're right. It basically just turned into digital only. And then they started having the self-published games too. Remember when people could like self-publish games onto 360?
Yeah.
Like, that's just crazy.
That was a big deal. They were trying to make it as easy as possible. Like, that was a huge leg up. There's a comment earlier in the chat of how difficult it was to make games for PS3, and Xbox kind of like leaned into that. So they wanted to get as many games on there as possible because they had the whole infrastructure. They had the whole online system for people to buy and download and own games digitally. Like, it was such a pivot point for games, and it started there.
The one game I forgot about because it's scarring memories. Uno. Now, it sounds bad. Sean knows where I'm going with this. Maybe? No?
No?
So Uno was packaged with the Xbox Live Vision camera. So you could set up the camera. It was a webcam. I still have one. Set up the webcam, and basically you could do video chats with people, like Skype, which
who you're going to screw over. Obviously.
Right. But you could do... Ryan says in the chat, I know.
I know about Uno.
So Uno was, again, you have 4 players, you're playing Uno, and instead of like a little avatar or a gamer pick back in the day, you 360 people, you know what's up, it would be your face or, whatever people decide to put in front of the camera.
Oh, stop. Oh, disgusting.
Just saying.
Oh, like
that's why Ryan knows about
like
Uno.
Their armpit? Is that what you're saying?
100%. Their arms.
Gross.
Their feet. It was terrible.
Oh.
But let's just say my wife played... Let's just say my wife played Uno one time like that and then decided never to play it again. So,
goodness gracious. Oh, I did not know about this. What a dark
it was. Yeah,
dude, that
me and Ryan were the OG ones.
Speaking of online, 1 versus 100 was 360.
Oh my God.
This was the best Xbox, you guys.
I'm telling you, it is the best Xbox ever made.
They had the Kinect, man. They had Kinect Sport. That's not quite the same.
Do you want to see the bottom of an avatar's foot? That's my favorite. That's my favorite. He's like, look at this. And then the avatar just does super unnatural.
They had avatars, by the way. This was like, remember the tail end of the 360? Like your avatar? Like that's what they had Rare. They bought Rare to make avatars. Goodness gracious.
Right. 1 versus 100, the original BR Battle Royale.
Man, what a
no, yeah, like that's like I said, there was a lot of cool, and I like how like the arcade aspect of it. They had a lot of classic games, Frogger, Sonic. Like they had like old school. Dig Dug was one I remember. That was like super duper early.
Wow.
Yeah, they had like super duper early like retro games on there too. Like Xbox Live Arcade was it, man. But yeah, Microsoft points go to hell. I'm glad you're not around anymore.
And then Peter Moore at the tail end of it all. Peter Moore just had to abandon ship. He had to go like coach the Liverpool soccer team or something like that, or I don't remember what he went off to next, but he abandoned us, Peter Moore, and he left with that Don Matrick.
We loved you.
Yeah, we did.
And then Don Matrick showed up. We'll do that, and that'll be an Xbox. Oh crap, we can't do an Xbox One podcast.
How are we supposed to do that?
How are we supposed to do that?
We did that already. That was the first episode.
Redo it all. Start one tomorrow.
The Xbox Drive episode 1. Yeah.
Yep.
Yarden in the chat says the 360 is a solid case for best console ever, in my opinion.
It
Pretty
really
transformational
does.
time, man. We'll be waiting another time, quite a while, before we get something that changed
Alien
the
Hominid.
game. Yeah. Yeah.
Alien Hominid was good too. Good lord,
This
thing
is
had
what
so many
keeps
good
us as
consoles.
Xbox fans. I'm convinced of
Yeah.
this because there was this like little flash of greatness. It was so good to be an Xbox fan in the 360 days, and they can do it again.
Oh, yeah.
That's what keeps us waiting. That's what keeps us around for next year. Maybe 2025 is the year. We'll see.
Realistically, that's the reason why I stuck with Xbox all these years, is because that friends list that you built playing games online with
Well
people,
said. Yep.
that alone, I'm like, I'm just keeping these friends going to Xbox One, even though it was the console I got laughed at for buying, because so many of my, like Buzz and them, like I talk about, they all went PlayStation.
PS4.
And
yeah.
there was literally, until crossplay was a thing, I didn't play games with Buzz for years.
Damn.
And finally I was like, oh yeah, Warzone's crossplay. You guys playing that? They're like, yup. And that's
Yeah,
when we
thank
started playing
goodness.
again. So
Yeah.
crazy.
Nice.
360 is the
man.
best console ever made.
I love it. Good trip down memory lane. We're grateful for Peter Moore. Sorry we didn't have time for Peter Moore to actually join the show. We ran out of time, Peter Moore.
I validate parking. Yes, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Come back at this episode 720 when we'll maybe do this again. I don't know. Why would we? You know?
We should find all the rumor videos of on Twitch or on YouTube. Find all the rumor videos of like what the 720 was supposed to be. We should go do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That would've been
turned
great.
into the one.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
No, 360 was literally this. We can go on a while more about how amazing that thing was, and super good. I love it.
That is all. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Xbox Drive episode 360. It brings us to the end of the episode. We're so glad. I love talking about good old times. That's just the old man coming out and jumping on a podcast and sharing memories with my friends. That's what we're here to do. Before we thank everybody who supports us at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, Fiona, please, would you tell the people where they can find you on the internet without giving away your IP address?
Absolutely. Starting off with, no, I was just going to start making a random number up. You guys can find me
192.
over 192.
Start with 192.
Yeah, exactly. So you can find me over on X. You can find me over on Steam. And you can also find me on Twitch, where I will be streaming on Sunday, because boy howdy have I not streamed in a while because your girl was sick. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Go check me out over there. And you check me out over on Point in Progress. I have a terrible time talking about Point in Progress, apparently. And I got called out on during a meeting this month. So, hi,
Damn.
guys. No, it was just a joke. It was just like...
Sure it was.
It was 100% a joke, and it was the joke I
Hilarious.
made. But we'll
What a
talk
good
about that
punchline.
later. Anyway, so Point in Progress, guys. Gonna be doing some fun stuff over there over the next few weeks. So go check me out over there. And yeah, there you go. That's where you can find me on the internet.
Go do it. Mitch Power, please tell the people where they can find you, my friend.
Everything MitchPower1116.com. That's where it has links for Twitch, TikTok, everything on Earth. I have a
Fancy.
very
He's got a
big
.com.
stream. Yeah, MitchPower1116.com. I have a very big stream planned in 2 weeks that I am prepping for. Unfortunately, work's been kicking my butt lately, so I have not been active during the week, unfortunately, which, by the way, brings me great sadness. I would love to stream for you guys every day like I used to. Unfortunately, it's not a thing anymore. But my weekend streams are still there. Still doing community games. Honestly, Lockdown Protocol will probably be the community game for a while, just because we have way too much fun playing it. But 2 weeks from now, super duper big stream planned. Cannot wait. But yeah,
Excellent.
MitchPower1116.
Well,
.com.
all power to you, man. As for me, I will be celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. I know this is bonkers for all y'all Americans to hear about, that we do it
It's
in
not
October.
November yet.
We're doing it in October, and I guess we're just kicking off the Christmas season now. Okay, that's what we got to do. That's how we got to embrace doing this better. This has got to be part of Christmas. Got to be doing the holiday season, but it's never going to happen. So I will celebrate American Thanksgiving later, because I think that holiday rules. I think that's great. But this weekend, we're eating good. I've got Monday off. I'm going to try my best to be streaming on Monday. If you're on feeds, you already missed it. But if you're here live and if you're on Patreon, you know what I'm saying. It's still
Which is
coming
where
up.
you should be.
all the Canadians out there, happy Thanksgiving. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Eat well. Enjoy the times. There's always something to be thankful for. So that's very nice to remember. As for me, Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. Find me on X and on Xbox. And also go to carpoolgaming.com. We got a .com. And you can also go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming, like more than 100 of you have, which is bonkers. You can go to extra-life.org/participant/carpoolgaming and donate towards our efforts this year. We're on the road to $10,000, Fiona. We're going to try and raise $10,000. We're going to do whatever we can. There's great prizes you guys can go check out there. And that's all the plug-in I'm going to do. So before we go, I would be remiss. I would be angry with myself. I'd bang my head against the wall if I failed to thank everybody over there at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Especially thank you to Jonathan Brown. He does the music for this show and the PlayStation Drive and a ton of other great stuff. You should go to linktree/pme.jib. You can listen to Purple Monkey Entertainment on Spotify and Apple Music. Go do it. Thank you to Cwagmire, who reminds you that the best babes are Xenobabes, and TechMike sitting right beside Cwagmire, who says, whether you are Kevesi or Agnian, you are a Xenobabe at heart. Thank you to all of our ultimate producers, our platinum producers, Smokin Joe, Solo, the Captain, and Tim Paullin. Thank you very much. And to our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave, 1337, BobLoblaw, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dan Drellesh, Emily Kelly, Hoppel, John 32, Liger Woods 330, OldMrFrump, Patrice Mallette, Peje EP, Shane Erickson, TheDonRob, the Jiggy Collector, and Toxic. Thank you all so much for your unbelievable support at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. You like that, Mitch? You like that?
I love it so much. You just I love it. I love it so much.
That is the end of the Xbox 360, the Xbox Drive 360. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Mitch, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
Now, Fiona, explain the closing. Here.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Xbox Drive. Now, before you drive off, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget that we've got some awesome Xbox Drive merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming for exclusive content. Links to everything are in the description. We'll see you next week.